Welcome to Farming Aid.
When we talk about sustainable beef production today, we're really talking about a system under pressure from every angle. Consumer demand is rising, climate concerns are growing, and producers are racing to balance productivity with environmental stewardship. In the middle of all that are the animals themselves. Certain cattle breeds have risen to global prominence because they offer specific advantages like heat tolerance, rapid growth, or premium meat quality. But as these breeds spread around the world, they are also reshaping how beef is produced, how land is managed, and how sustainability goals are defined. In this video we're going to explore the top 5 global cattle breeds that are disrupting sustainable beef production. We'll look at what makes each of them influential, how they impact production systems from ranches to feedlots, and why their growing use matters for the future of beef around the world. Whether you're a producer, a consumer, or just curious about the link between cattle genetics and sustainability, this is a story that touches every part of the beef supply chain. Let's dive in. Angus cattle, originally from the rugged pastures of Scotland, were valued for their ability to thrive in cool, harsh climates and to produce beef with consistent quality. As demand for premium beef grew in the United States, Australia, and parts of South America, Angus genetics were rapidly adopted by commercial producers. The result has been a dramatic shift in breeding programs that favor Angus crosses because of their predictable carcass traits. In many regions this has translated into higher returns at the slaughterhouse, but it has also driven a narrowing of genetic diversity in beef herds. Sustainability advocates worry that when a single breed becomes so dominant, the resilience of the wider cattle population to disease, climate stress, and changing feed resources can be compromised. Angus cattle have influenced global beef supply chains not just because of meat quality but because of the economic systems built around their genetics and the pricing premiums attached to their brand. While Angus has reshaped market expectations, another breed at the center of sustainable beef discussions is the Brahman. Native to India and adapted to tropical heat, Brahman cattle are prized for their tolerance to heat stress, parasites, and low-quality forage. As climate change intensifies and beef producers in equatorial and subtropical regions confront higher temperatures and more extreme weather events, Brahman genetics are being used to build more resilient herds. This adaptability makes them essential to sustainable production in areas where traditional European breeds struggle. Though Brahman meat is leaner and sometimes viewed as less desirable in certain markets, crossbreeding programs have sought to combine Brahman hardiness with the carcass quality of other breeds. The influence of Brahman extends across large areas of Brazil, the southern United States, Mexico, and parts of Africa and Asia. Their contribution to sustainable beef production is not about premium marbling but about survival and productivity in climates where cattle otherwise would not thrive. In recent years, the Charolais breed has also taken on a larger role in global beef production. Originating in France, Charolais cattle are recognized for their rapid growth rates and muscular frame, traits that make them appealing to producers focused on efficiency and output. Efficient growth translates into shorter time to market, less feed per unit of weight gain, and potentially lower greenhouse gas emissions per kilogram of beef produced. However, these efficiency gains are most beneficial when managed in systems that avoid overstocking, degradation of grazing lands, or reliance on high-input feedlots. Producers who integrate Charolais cattle into well-managed pasture systems see benefits in both productivity and sustainability. But their rising popularity has also created challenges, particularly where land management practices have not kept pace with herd expansion. The story of Charolais cattle is one of balancing impressive growth performance with thoughtful stewardship of natural resources. Alongside these breeds, the Hereford has a long and storied influence on beef production systems around the world. With origins in England, Hereford cattle became widely established in North and South America, Australia, and parts of Africa because of their docile temperament, adaptability to a range of environments, and solid beef quality. Their striking white face and red body have become iconic in ranching communities across continents. For many producers focused on sustainable beef production, Hereford genetics are a cornerstone because they can thrive on forage-based diets and in extensive grazing systems that emphasize soil health and biodiversity. Unlike highly intensive feedlot systems, grass-based Hereford operations often align more closely with environmental goals such as carbon sequestration and reduced reliance on external inputs. But Hereford cattle are not without their own pressures. As demand for uniformity and fast growth has risen, some producers have shifted toward more highly fed systems that blur the line between traditional grass-based sustainability and feedlot efficiency. Hereford cattle remind us that breed traits matter deeply, but the systems in which those traits are expressed matter even more. In Latin America, Africa, and parts of Asia, the development of composite breeds has changed the conversation about sustainable beef production. These are not purebreds in the traditional sense but intentional crosses designed to capture the best qualities of multiple breeds. One such composite that has gained attention is the Santa Gertrudis breed, developed in the United States by crossing Brahman with shorthorn cattle. Santa Gertrudis combines heat tolerance and parasite resistance with improved meat quality and maternal traits. The result is an animal that can perform well in harsh environments while still producing beef that meets market expectations. The creation of composite breeds like Santa Gertrudis reflects a shift in thinking among producers who recognize that no single breed holds all the answers. Instead, sustainability may emerge from strategic genetic blending that fits local conditions and market demands. These composite animals have spread beyond their original development region, influencing cattle operations in Central and South America, Africa, and Asia as producers look for balanced performance in an era of climate uncertainty. As we examine the roles of these breeds in the broader context of sustainable beef production, it is important to understand how sustainability itself is defined and measured. For some, sustainable beef means minimizing carbon emissions per kilogram of meat produced. For others it means improving soil health and water quality through managed grazing practices. For many producers it is about economic viability over the long term, ensuring that ranching communities can thrive while protecting the land for future generations. The breeds we have mentioned have all entered this sustainability conversation not because they are perfect, but because they each contribute distinct strengths. Angus cattle raise questions about genetic diversity and market dynamics. Brahman cattle offer lessons in resilience under heat stress. Charolais cattle illustrate the potential and challenges of growth efficiency. Hereford cattle embody the linkage between adaptability and grass-based systems. And composite breeds like Santa Gertrudis show how innovation in genetics can respond to complex production environments. The influence of these breeds is felt differently from region to region. In the United States, producers often juggle consumer expectations for high-marbling beef with pressures to reduce environmental footprints. Here Angus cattle are deeply embedded in retail branding, while crossbreeds with Brahman or Charolais genetics appear in more diverse production systems. In Brazil, a leading global beef exporter, Brahman-influenced breeds dominate large tropical ranches where heat tolerance and disease resistance are critical. Brazil's beef industry is both massive and controversial, with sustainability concerns ranging from deforestation to emissions. The breeds chosen there have direct implications for how land is managed and how beef fits into global markets. In Australia, producers contend with arid conditions and water scarcity, making Brahman and composite breeds essential for extensive grazing operations that aim to balance productivity with ecological care. In New Zealand and parts of Europe, where temperate climates favor grass-based systems, Hereford and Charolais cattle are often central to sustainable beef narratives. There the focus is on rotational grazing, pasture diversity, and carbon sequestration in soils. These systems value breeds that can convert forage into meat efficiently, maintain good health with minimal intervention, and fit into landscapes shaped by centuries of pastoral agriculture. Still, even in these regions, market pressures for specific meat qualities influence breed choices and management practices. Sustainability in beef production is rarely about a single factor. It is always an interplay between animal genetics, land management, market preferences, and policy frameworks. As we look to the future, innovations in cattle breeding are likely to expand beyond traditional breed definitions. Genomic selection, precision breeding, and advanced reproductive technologies are enabling producers to fine-tune traits such as feed efficiency, methane emissions, disease resistance, and meat quality. These tools hold promise for accelerating improvements that traditional breeding alone could take decades to achieve. But they also raise questions about equity, ethics, and access. Will small-scale producers benefit from these advances, or will they further concentrate advantages among large, vertically integrated beef corporations? How will regulatory systems ensure that genetic innovations align with broader sustainability goals rather than narrow productivity metrics? The breeds discussed here will continue to matter, but the lens through which we view cattle genetics is shifting toward a future that integrates technology with on-the-ground management. One of the most critical sustainability issues in global beef production is greenhouse gas emissions, particularly methane produced by enteric fermentation in cattle. Different breeds vary in their methane output, not because of inherent magic, but because of growth rates, digestive efficiency, and body size. Breeds that grow quickly to market weight, like Charolais, can potentially reduce lifetime emissions per unit of beef. Yet the actual impact depends on feeding practices, pasture management, and the broader life cycle of the production system. Similarly, breeds like Brahman that thrive on lower-quality forage may reduce the need for high-energy supplemental feeds, but if they grow more slowly to weight targets, their lifetime emissions could balance out or even exceed those of faster-growing animals. These complexities underscore why breed selection is just one piece of the sustainability puzzle. Water use and land footprint are also deeply connected to the breeds producers choose. Some cattle thrive on marginal lands unsuited for crops, making beef production a way to generate food value where alternatives are limited. Hereford cattle, with their broad adaptability, are often used in grasslands that support biodiversity and ecosystem services. Yet grazing pressure can degrade soils and water systems if not managed carefully, highlighting the need for holistic approaches that combine breed choice with rotational grazing, riparian buffers, and integrated herd management. In settings where grazing lands are limited, feedlot finishing becomes more common, and breeds with high feedlot performance, like Angus, become economically attractive. This shift can concentrate environmental impacts in different ways, from feed crop production to manure management. As we've seen, the future of sustainable beef production is not being shaped by technology alone. It's also being shaped by the cattle themselves. Breeds like Angus, Brahman, Charolais, Hereford, and innovative composite types are changing how beef is produced across the world. Each one brings unique strengths, whether it's premium meat quality, heat tolerance, fast growth, adaptability to grass systems, or genetic balance for tough environments. But none of them are a perfect solution on their own. Real sustainability comes from how these breeds are matched with the right land, the right management, and the right goals. What this really shows is that sustainable beef is not about choosing one best breed. It's about using the right cattle in the right place, with systems that protect the soil, use water wisely, reduce waste, and support the people who raise them. As consumers, producers, and policymakers keep pushing for better answers, these global cattle breeds will stay at the center of the conversation. The decisions made today about genetics and management will shape what beef looks like tomorrow. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how cattle breeds are disrupting sustainable beef production, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.